The morning I was doing this one. See, this 3:25:35 is the verse, Srimad Bhagavatam verse. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurvanmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Dev Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is a very famous verse. Pashyanti te me ruchiranyam vasantah प्रसन्नवक्त्रारुणलोचनानि रूपाणि दिव्यानि वरप्रदानि साकं वाचं स्पृहणीयां वदन्ति. Meaning of the verse I'll tell you. Pashyanti te me, my devotees see my form in the temple as Sakshat Krishna. They see me as Krishna himself. They don't see me as some doll or something. They see me as Krishna. You see, in the shops, clothes shops, there is a doll kept with a man's doll or woman's doll. You've seen that? They put it as mannequin, they call it, mannequin. So the mannequins are decorated. On the other hand, Prabhupada was showing, see, on the road people are walking and there is a mannequin. What is the difference between the two? The people walking on the road, they have a spirit in their body, correct? No? They are spirit souls. Whereas the shop one is just an ordinary doll, isn't it? So, in the same manner, when we talk about the Lord, most people when they come to temple, they don't know. They think the murti is very beautiful. When they see Radha Madhava with Ashtasaki, they think it is like the one kept in the shop, but it is not. And how is it different from that? That is why today morning I was telling you about the Prana Pratishtha. The Lord in the altar, uh, I showed you various acharyas are worshipped there, like Shankaracharya, Ramanacharya, Chaitra Mahaprabhu, and all these personalities. So there are three types of drishtis with which you can see the Lord. Jada drishti, Manomaya drishti, Chinmaya drishti. Three levels of cognition, three levels of perception. Now, right now our eyes have material vision, Jada drishti. Therefore, when you look at the Lord in the altar, he looks like a doll for you. Just like you see in the shop. That is Jada drishti. In Jada drishti, what happens? You think the dead things or material things, they look very attractive for you in Jada Drishti. And the spiritual things, they look mundane for you, opposite. For example, there was one boy, uh, one of my classmates in my engineering college days, first year, he was very fond of one good looking girl in the class. All the time he'll keep talking about her. He wanted to connect with her someday for some reason. So one of the days that girl left her kerchief in the class, in her table. Forgetfully, she went away. So this fellow went and, gathered it, kept it with him. He came and told all of us, "Hey, I got her kerchief, I got her kerchief." He was dancing very happily. I got her kerchief. So next day morning, the girl came. So he went to have some interaction with her. He went to her and said, "Ma'am, you forgot your kerchief." So I took it and kept it with me. Here it is. She took it and said, "Thank you." She said, and she took it. Uh, And this fellow felt so jolly that he got interaction with her, to talk to her. When I saw that, I was very taken by surprise. Why this fellow is so much dancing, so much happy? What is there in a kerchief? All the stuff from her nose. Huh? Is the kerchief. It's a nasty thing, it is. Nothing great about it. Is there anything divine about the kerchief? Huh? But why is he considering it? Oh, I got this kerchief. He's feeling so much feeling for that. Why? Anybody can say why? Yes? He is not seeing the metal handkerchief. He has feeling for her, he is saying. Yes? Anybody else? Yeah, anybody has a mic with you? Yes. Yeah. Give the mic to him. Give the mic to him. Give the mic to him. Where is the mic? Where is the mic? I think drama people, they have inside. Give it to him. Behind.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhuji, it is because of lust.
Lust, exactly. Give him an applause. It is because of lust. Kamanda, we say, no? Kamanda means is blinded by lust. Correct, no? So it is illusion, we call it. Illusion means, it's a nasty stuff it is, but he's seeing it to be divine due to lust. Yeah. Due to lust for her, like a lusty dog. He feels attraction for her, therefore he feels something very special about it, although it is a nasty thing it is. So, but now when you become advanced in spiritual knowledge, you can see, a thing for what it is. Yeah. When you say, hey, this is a girl's kerchief, how does it matter? It belongs to her. Okay. You just leave it in the same table, she will come and take it tomorrow. Not that you have to take it and keep it with you. Because you are not eager to connect with her. But he, out of lusty desires, wanted to connect, therefore he saw it. So now he is seeing a mundane thing to be divine. Are you able to see it? He's seeing a mundane thing to be divine. So he cannot see divine thing as divine now. He is going to see divine thing as mundane. That's the point. Like, once Jananivas Prabhu was here, so one man had come, he asked about the Radha Madhava and Ashtasaki. These dolls are very beautiful, he was telling. So Jananivas Prabhu told him, who are you? He was one singer. One sing. He told, I am one singer, some sing, he told me. No, I am asking you, who are you? Again he asked. Again he said, I told you my name, he said. No, you are telling name of your body, but who are you? He asked. And that man didn't understand. Then Jananivas Prabhu explained to him the difference between body and soul. Correct? No? And then he told him, when you see yourself as soul, then you will see the deity as Krishna. When you see yourself as a man or a woman, you identify with the body, then you will be attracted to the material bodies of opposite sex. At that time, you are seeing a mundane thing to be divine. That is called Jada Drishti. And divine things to be mundane. So, don't look at the deity with a mundane vision. For example, daily when I put tilak, no? After putting the tilak, now I have to check whether the tilak is dried. So I have to touch it and see. If it is dry, then I can put my specs. But if I really want to know whether it is dry or not, my finger also has to be dry. It should be of the same quality. So dry thing, then if I touch it and see, then I know it's dry. Imagine I put it in water, my hand, like this, to soak it, and then I check whether it is dry. Is it possible? Because if I put in water and put here, what will happen? I will make it wet. That means with mundane vision, you look at the deity, you will see it as mundane only. And you see it with the divine vision, then you can see it as divine. In Tamil, there is a song. Devam என்றால் அது தெய்வம், சிலை என்றால் அது சிலைதான். It's a Tamil song it is. Meaning is, if you see the Lord as Krishna, deity, as your friend, your master, then he will behave with you accordingly. If you see him as a doll, then he will show himself only as a doll with you. Whatever way you see him, he will accordingly reciprocate. That's the way God is. God says, Ye tamam prapadyante, tam tadeva bhajamyaham. So in Jada Drishti, people see him only as just a very beautiful doll, that's all. Then you go to the Manomaya Drishti. Manomaya Drishti is the second stage where you have already chanted Hare Krishna many years, your vision has become purified, you have developed some attraction for him. Then even before the altar opens, in your mind you will be seeing his form. You are greatly eager. One day here in Mayapur, lot of crowds of people are there in the temple hall because they had put chandan, blue chandan on the body of Radha Madhava. Everybody was wanting to take darshan. The darshan is going to open at 7:20 in the morning. So, there were people outside the temple pushing. They wanted to come in, but they were not able to come. They were really eager to come and see. So, I saw one man in the front row. Instead of facing the altar, he was facing the opposite side. I asked him, why you are seeing this side? What happened? He said, I wanted to get out of the crowd. I want to go out, but I got stuck here. Like that he was telling. Then I asked him, then how did you come to the front? He said, they pushed me and brought me in the front, but he didn't want to be there. That means, is he eager to take darshan? Huh? No, he is eager to get out. And there are people outside who want to come in for darshan. So Radha Madhava is pleased with whom? Those are eager to take darshan. Is it not true? Not the fellow who want to get out. He may be just in the front. Huh? That means everybody is not looking at the deity with the same vision. Huh? People outside, they are seeing Radha Madhava in their eye of their mind. Oh, Radha Madhava will be beautifully decorated today. I want to go in. Little space I get, I will somehow push myself in. They're eager. So the Manomaya Drishti is a stage where your eagerness for the Lord has increased. Huh? And in the early stage, there is no eagerness. You just go because you're supposed to go. Everybody is going, you're supposed to go, you go. Huh? Or people go to ask for material benefits and things like that. Huh? A third stage is called Chinmaya Drishti, where you can clearly see Pratimatumi Nai, Sakshat Brajendra Nandan, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh my dear Lord Krishna, people say you see you as deity, but I don't see you as deity. I see you as Sakshat Brajendra Nandan. You are Sakshat Krishna, he said. You are not deity. Then Krishna behaves like Sakshat Krishna. Huh? In Kanchipuram, there is one Varadaraja Perumal. Huh? You will see his hand like this, Hasta Mudra. Huh? Here it's written Mahashacha, don't fear. Huh? It's Krishna's deity. Varadaraja, one who is giver of benedictions. Huh? So he had one very great devotee called Tirukkachi Nambi. In Tamil we call Tirukkachi Nambi. In English they call him as Kanchipurana, they call him. This Kanchipurana was a very, very great advanced devotee. So much so that even Brahmanas knew that he talks to the deity. Huh? When they would see him on the road, they would offer him obeisances. He was such an exalted devotee. Once Ramanuja had 6 questions from Vedanta Sutra. Huh? So he wrote those 6 questions and gave it to this Kanchipurana and said, can you please ask your Lord Varadaraja, what is the answer to these questions? Now, Kanchipurana just took it from here and showed it to Lord and got the answer and gave it to Ramanuja. That's all. Huh? He is not known for great being a Pandita or something. He got the answers from the Lord and gave it to Ramanuja. Ramanuja understood the answers and Lord understood the question and he acted as a medium. In between, he just took it from one hand to another and gave. And we have the answers now, given by Lord Vadraja. So, now one day, this Kanchipurna, his famous pastime was, he would take this chamar and do chamar for the Lord always. He'd be standing next to Varadaraja and always be doing chamar. One day it so happened that, Lord Varadaraja was so fond of him, this devotee. When he was eating from a plate, some prasadam was left in his plate. So Lord Varadaraja snatched that prasad and ate it. So Kanchipurna became offended that we are supposed to take your remnants. How did you take from my plate? Huh? So he said, I am not going to serve here, I am going away. So he left that place and went to Balaji Hills, where in Tirupati. He went to Tirupati, Balaji. You all know Tirupati Balaji? How many of you know? Yeah, Tirupati Balaji. So there he took his peacock feather, and then, they have this peacock feather charmer they have. So he was doing that for Balaji. Balaji told him, hey Kanchipurna, I am already on the top of a mountain. It is very cold. And you are also fanning me. It's becoming more cold now for me. Then he said, my lord, then what should I do? He said, better you go back to Kanchipuram and serve Varadaraja, I said. He said, okay. Then he kept it down. Then instead of going to Kanchipuram, he went to Srirangam. Then in Srirangam, he started massaging the feet of Lord Ranganatha. Lord Ranganath said, hey, Kanchipurna, so already Lakshmi is massaging my feet. If you also massage, then I'll feel leg pain. Too much massage. Whatever Lakshmi is doing is good enough. You don't have to massage me. Then what do you want me to do? He said. Go to Kanchipuram, he said. Finally understood, Vadraj is very intelligent. Through all these different forms of deity, he's calling me back to Kanchipuram. Then he went back. Then he started serving. So in this way, Lord deals very personally with many devotees. One amazing thing you will find in India, Ranganath, I told you, is Krishna only. Balaji is Bala, means child. Ji means respectable. So he is Krishna only, who is actually Krishna's mother. Yashoda wanted to see his marriage in Dwaraka. She couldn't see. So he came as Srinivas. And then his mother came as Vakula Devi. Yashoda came as Vakula Devi. And then he gets married to Padmavati. So it's Krishna only. And you go to Odisha, you will find Jagannath and Baladevar, Krishna and Balaram. And Subhadra is sister. Huh? You all know that Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra is Krishna and how many of you know that? Krishna and Balram. Correct, no? Jagannath, Baladev is Krishna, Balram only. We sing also Baladev, we call him, or Balaram. Huh? They are same Vrindavan personalities only, Krishna and Balram, there, along with their sister Subhadra. Then you go to Maharashtra, a very famous place called Pandharpur. Huh? There, who is presiding? Huh? Vitthal Rakumai. Huh? So Rakumai is none other than Rukmini only. And Vitthal is Krishna, Dwarkadesh Krishna. One time, Rukmini, due to some reason, she became upset with Krishna. She left Dwarka and she came to Pandharpur. Huh? So Krishna also came there. But then when Dwarka king Krishna, when he arrived there, he realized that, oh, Pandharpur is a place where my very great pure devotee Pundalik lives there. Huh? So I will go to his house. So I went to his house. His parents were also pure devotees, Pundalik's parents. So he was actually taking care of the parents, feeding them prasad and massaging their feet and all that. So Lord told him, see, your parents are my great devotees. You serve them, I will wait for some time. So then he took one brick and he threw it. And he told the Lord, please stand on that, Lord, keep waiting, I will come back and attend to you. And Lord kept his hand like this. Like when you wait, sometimes you wait like this, no? As the Lord was waiting. So he came to be called as Vit Allah. Vit means brick. So he stood on the top of the brick like this with his hands. He stood. So after that, when at that time when he stood like this, Rukmini came to know that Lord has come here to Pandharpur. So she came to see this Lord in this special form. Generally, Krishna plays on his flute like this. But now he is keeping like this. So she became pleased. So she also kept her hand like this. You will see that when you go to Pandharpur. Then there is Radharani's deity. She is also having hand like this. All three of them. Jai Jai Panduranga, Raicha Vallabha, Rukmanicha Vallabha, Jai Dev. They sing like that. So there, Rai means Radharani. And Rakumai means Rukmani. Yeah. And Vithala is Dwarkadish standing on brick. Same Krishna only. Then you go to North India, you will see there is, I told you, Udaipur. Lord is lifting the Govardhan hill. That is Gopal. Same Gopal which was worshipped by Madhavendra in Vrindavan. So Gopal is standing there, you will see that. Go to Gujarat, Ranchodrai, you will find. That is also Krishna who ran from the battlefield. You will see like that. Go to Karnataka, there is Udupi Krishna who is worshipped by Madhvacharya. The greatest acharyas worshipped Krishna. Shankara worshipped Badri Vishal in Badrinath. And Madhvacharya worshipped Udupi Krishna in Karnataka. Ramanujacharya worshipped Ranganath in Sri Lanka. You will see like that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu worshipped Jagannath Baladev Subhadra in Puri, Odisha. You will see like that. So, and you go to Kerala, you will find Guru Ayurappan. How many of you know Guru Ayurappan? Heard about that? Few hands are up, you see. It's Krishna only, Guru Ayurappan. There is a Narayaniyam. If you read, it's the same Srimad Bhagavatam, made into very simple Sanskrit verses by Narayaniyam, very great devotee. So, Guru Ayurappan also Krishna only, same. So all over India you go, you will find Krishna in different names. But the deity is same, Krishna only. In this way, the Lord appears. When you see him with the Chinmaya Drishti, then you will see him as Sakshat Krishna. Okay, let me give another example. Now, when you look at your professor or teacher, you see with a certain type of eye. Correct, no? Like my father, for example. My father was a professor and a teacher of mathematics and English, he would teach. So many years ago, in the school days, he has been teaching to many boys, mathematics and everything. Later on, when my three sisters were married, so one of the last sister, when her marriage was fixed, my father was talking to the family and everything. I ultimately found out that the boy who is going to marry my sister is one of his old students. One of his old mathematics students. And he married. My father was very happy. Now, he saw my father as a tuition teacher long before. Now, when he married his daughter, now his relationship has changed now. Correct or not? Isn't it? He is a father-in-law now. He has become more intimate now. So, earlier, my father is a strict mathematics teacher. Hours and hours he will teach. He was very fond of maths and English he would teach. Now, when he got married to my sister, When he saw, he said, I never thought in my life such a thing would ever happen. Huh? So now the relationship is changed. Similarly with Krishna also, when you all come to the temple first time, you see, okay, here is a God standing. I can take out my list, what all I want. Huh? And people ask, give me this, give me that. That's what most people do, correct now? And they come in the beginning. And then gradually you grow. Then you feel that Lord has done so much for me. Let me thank Him. Huh? And then you further grow. Then when the love builds up, the more you get the eyes of love, then you will not see the deity as ordinary. You will see him as Sakshat Krishna. Just like you will see a mother, how she treats a child. Huh? If you see, she loves the child so much that, the child occupies the mind of the mother. Huh? Even in the absence of the child. You will see that child has gone to school, but the mother can remember the child's form in the mind. Correct or not? Isn't it? That's because of love. If you love somebody, then their form becomes a impression in your mind. If you love somebody very strongly. When that love is not there, then it is a formal aupcharik. It's a formal relationship. So as we proceed with understanding of Krishna, you will, the more we gain awareness, the more our affection blossoms, then the Chinmay Drishti can be awakened. And that is the stage the Lord's deity doesn't behave like deity. He starts behaving as a person with you. You deal with him as a person, he will deal with you as a person. You deal with him as a doll, he will deal with you as a doll. Accordingly, he will reciprocate with you. Therefore, I told you this example. After touching water, if you touch this tilak, it will always be wet. So the touching water represents mundane vision. With the mundane vision, you see a spiritual object, you will see it as mundane. With the divine vision, you see him, then you can see him. Premanjanacharita bhakti vilochanena santas sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shyama sundaram achintya gunaswarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. There are three chakshus. Avidya chakshu, jnana chakshu, prema chakshu. Avidya chakshu means, like he correctly said, that boy said, that lust he said. That is avidya chakshu. Eyes tinged with lust. Wherever any woman goes on the road, you think she is meant for my enjoyment only. One thinks like that. It's a Ravana eyes. Ravana eyes. Sometimes in lorry behind the ride, buri nazar wala, tere muh kala. No? You seen that? Right? Because it's always seeing things with the bhogavritti. That is actually avidya anjan, ignorant eyes. Seeing all objects are meant for my enjoyment like that. And jnana chakshu means you see that in everybody's body there is a spirit soul. All the jivas in their male body, female body, dog's body, cat's body, tree's body. You see the spirit soul in everybody's body. And prema chakshu means you see the deity form of Krishna with the eyes of love. I'll tell you a little story from Banki Bihari temple. One day, it was a very crowded festival day. One rich Jamindar was entering Banki Bihari temple in Vrindavan. At that time, a lot of people were coming and going out, heavy crowds of people in the temple. So this fellow hit one blind man walking out of the temple. This fellow was going in, he was coming out. They hit one another and they both fell down. And both of them got up. And this Jamindar became angry. He said, "Andhe ho kya?" Later he asked him. And the man said, "Haan ji, main andha hoon ji, andha. I am sorry." He said. Still he became angry. He said, "Agar andhe ho, to idhar mandir mein kya kaam hai tumhara? What is your work in the temple if you are blind? Anyway, you cannot see God. You don't have the eyes to see God. Then why do you come here?" Then that blind man said, "Sir, मंदिर में क्यों आता हूँ? भगवान को देखने के लिए नहीं आता हूँ, देख के जाने के लिए आता हूँ, हाजिर देने के लिए आता हूँ. I come to the temple every day to give my attendance to the Lord. Because," and then the man said, blind man, for the baby, it is always good for the baby to be within the glance of the mother. Then the child is safe. Mother may have one eye in the kitchen, but another eye is on the child. And the child is playing with some toy, da 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 da. Mother is hearing that, she is also watching. If the child stops the sound, she is worried. Where did the fellow go? He must have gone out somewhere. She will leave the kitchen and come running outside. So he said, similarly, me also, I am a very tiny jiva, and if Krishna's eyes are on me, it is good for me. And why? And then he said, Lord's eyes are Amritvarsha eyes. When the coward boys died in the Yamuna's poison due to Kaliya, Krishna just looked at them. What happened to them? They all came back to life. Lord's glance is life producing. So I am like a dead fellow. I am forgetful fellow. But if I come to temple and stand in front of the Lord, He will, मुझे भगवान पुनर्जीवित करेंगे, and He'll give me devotion. Therefore I am coming. And then he said, साथ साथ साधु महात्मा लोग रोज कुछ प्रवचन देते हैं भागवत के ऊपर. अगर मैं सुन लेता हूँ, 2 शब्द गान में घुसता है, वो दिन भर गूंजता रहता है. If I hear 2 words from saintly persons, that keeps ringing in my ears. And that way I'm able to fondly remember Krishna in my heart. That is the reason I come to temple. Like that he said. When that Jamindar heard his speech, he felt ashamed. He said, Arey, andhe tum nahi ho, main andha hu, he said. I am a blind man because you may be physically blind, but you are spiritually awakened. I am actually having physically eyes, but I am spiritually dull. He understood that. So, therefore, we need that Premanjan. What is Premanjan? Eyes tinged with love. When that eyes we get, then we can see Krishna. Like it's like Yashoda is seeing Krishna. You can see also. Now, please read it, one of you. Now, where is the mic?
What is deity worship? The smiling face of the deity in the temple is beheld by devotee as transcendental and spiritual, and the decoration of the body of the Lord is very much appreciated by the devotees.
Devotees say, hey, look at Krishna, how he's wearing turban today. Such a beautiful turban. Hey, look at his necklace he's wearing, so nice. How stylish he looks today. How sweet he looks. You know, who is this deity? You know that name? Vrindavan Chandra. He resides in Pune, in NVCC, New Vedic Cultural Center. So, look at his flute. He has a rainbow-like flute today. Multiple color flute. So, look at his earrings. They're round and big. They look... So, and this earring is fitting his chubby cheeks. So beautiful. So, devotees appreciate his decoration like that. And also, look at his eyes are like lotus petals. Look at his innocent face. So, devotees, when they see that, that is how they feel love for the Lord. And they also see the smiling face of the deity as the Lord reciprocating with the devotee. Therefore, I told you, when you look at the picture of your mother or father in the computer, although you know that it is made up of pixels combination, the pixels don't matter for you because you are remembering them, remembering your interaction with them, correct, no? Same manner, the deities are made of 8 elements, but once the prana pratishtha is done, the deity's behavior completely changes. I have a personal experience in Pune. We had one gentleman called Banerjee. He had one big Balaji deity, life-size Balaji deity in his house. So one day he came to our Kunjibehari temple in Pune, and he said, oh, this Radha Kunjibehari, people are dressing him so beautifully, and he's smiling so wonderfully, and you're worshipping very well. I have a Balaji deity, but I can't take care of him. He said, now, last 5 to 8 years, I have kept him in a godown. Big deity, same size as Tirupati Balaji. But I have no one to take care. Can your bhaktas come and worship him? So my GBC in Pune, Prabhupada Gopaksha Maharaj told me. So me and 2-3 more devotees, we started going to his house. So we started, then we bathed the deities fully, Balaji deity. And we decorated him very nicely and we started worshipping. So we did worship for about 3 to 4 months. Then he became so pleased with the way we worshipped. He came and told that I'm giving my house to ISKCON. His house was 1.5 crores rupees. He said, I'll gift my house provided you make a temple for this Balaji. We agreed for that. So when the new temple came up, we made one separate temple for Balaji in South Indian style. We made. Now you come and see Balaji, he has a big smile on his face. Actually, we have a photo of the Balaji which he had. And that Balaji was very morose. He said, you guys have put me in Godon? And nobody is attending to me. This is the way you give me. You look at that photo of Balaji and now look at the current photo, how Balaji worship. He has a big beaming smile. He looks exactly the same Balaji, what you see in Tirupati. But there's only one difference. In Tirupati, they'll catch you and throw you. They will not allow you for a long time. In Pune, you can sit down and take darshan for a long time. So, when the deities are installed, in the beginning you will see the deities will look very normal. As you keep worshipping them more and more and more, they manifest beauty, smile, blessing, everything. Read for them. There are
There are different procedures and rules and regulations which are followed in temples of Vishnu. And devotees go there and see the deity, the Vigraha, and spiritually enjoy the form because all of deities are benevolent. The devotees express their minds before the deity, and in many instances, the deity also gives answer. But one must be a very elevated devotee in order to able to speak with the Supreme Lord.
How does the deity give answer? Like one time I had a very serious philosophical query. So I went in front of the Lord and I offered the prayer. I said, I have asked 6 people, different devotees. Nobody has given the answer. Nobody knows this answer. So whenever I would get doubts like that, sometimes I would do research to find out. But at that time I researched and I couldn't find out. So when I prayed to the deity, the afternoon after my lunch, I came to room. I opened my cupboard, one book fell down. And that book fell like this with the open page. When I lifted it, my answer was there. Exactly, I found the answer. So I found exactly morning I asked the question to the deities and afternoon I got the answer. So in this way, how the Lord reciprocates, how He gives response to you, you will eventually see it yourself in experiencing in your life. One time I asked a question that, Krishna in Vakal Bandhan Leela, he goes between 2 trees. You know that pastime? And then he pulled, what happened? The 2 trees broke. Out came Nalakor Manigriva. You all know the pastime? And then, they were actually Kubera's sons. In the previous life, they were, in Mandakini Ganga, playing in the waters with nude devis. Narada cursed them to become trees. Now they were the Tamalajana trees, 2 trees next to each other. And Krishna went between the 2 trees and while crawling, and then he broke those 2 trees, isn't it? And then they were liberated. They got vimochan after that. But when I heard that pastime first, I got one doubt. My doubt was, because I come from mechanical engineering background, So I asked the question in the class that when you pull vocal like this, basically what will happen? Vocal will remain on this side. On that side, Krishna will go with a rope like a tail behind. And he will go on that side. Correct, no? But do you think trees will break? Just to use your common sense, how can 2 trees break when you just pull the vocal? How many of you understand what I am asking? My question is clear? I had this question. When I asked the question to a dozen devotees, everybody said, see, that is the pastime, Prabhu, we don't know anything more than that. Some of them said, hey, Prabhuji, don't ask such questions, all offensive questions. How can you ask? Pastime is mentioned in Bhagavatam, you just have to accept. But still it was lingering in my mind. Later, one of the days when I was reading Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, there he says that before Krishna went between the 2 trees, he empowered the rope to become like a steel cord. He empowered the rope to get the potency to break the 2 trees. Krishna empowered it. Because Krishna empowered it, when he pulled, the vocal came along with Krishna without breaking, and the 2 trees broke. Then I got my answer there. You will see like that when you pray to the Lord, He will respond. He will answer. But His plans are always best. Why He does what He does, only He knows. I'll just show you one small.
Trust God. Once upon a time, in a temple of Lord Krishna, there was a sweeper who was very sincere and devoted. Every time he saw thousands of devotees coming to take darshan of the Lord, he thought to himself,
the Lord is standing all the time giving darshan. He must be feeling very tired. O Lord, your feet must be aching. I want to help you. At least for one day, can I take your place so that you can have some rest?
Thank you, my dear. It is very nice of you, and I don't mind taking a break. But how will you take my place?
It's simple. You change me to look like you and change yourself to look like me.
Okay. I'll transform you like myself. But there is one condition. You must just stand here like me, smile at everyone and give blessings. Never interfere with anything and do not say anything. Just watch everything and be a witness.
The sweeper agreed to this and exchanged places with his Lord. The next day, a rich man came to pray.
O Lord, please bless me. My business should go on well.
While leaving the temple, the rich man forgot to take his briefcase, which was full of money. Just then, a poor man came into the temple.
O Lord, please accept this coin, as this is all I can afford. Bless me to be engaged in your service always. My family is hungry and my heart is leaking. I need some help from you.
When he opened his eyes, he saw the briefcase left behind by the rich man. The poor man thanked the Lord for his kindness and generosity and took the briefcase. At that point, a sailor walked in.
O Lord, I'm going on a long trip. Please bless me so that I have a safe journey.
Just then, the rich man came in with the police.
There, he is the thief who stole my briefcase full of money.
Hey, did you think you could run away after robbing this gentleman? Come on, tell me where's the money?
I did not steal anything, sir. I don't have any money with me.
Then you must have given it to your friend who must have run away by now. Come with us to the police station.
Dear Lord, you know I am innocent. Why am I being punished then?
Thank you, Krishna. You are the one who helped us catch this thief.
The sweeper, in the form of the deity, could no longer tolerate the situation. He had to speak up now to save the sailor.
Stop! You're making a mistake. It was not this sailor who took the money. It was a poor man who came here before him.
Who is that speaking?
Here, I am God speaking.
This person is not only a thief but also a clever cheat. He is tricking us into thinking that the idol is speaking. Arrest him, quick!
The sailor was arrested and taken away. The sweeper felt very sad. In the evening, Krishna returned to the temple.
My dear, how was the day?
I thought it would be easy, Krishna, but it was difficult. I tried to do a good thing, but man does not seem to have actual faith in God at all.
The sweeper then told Krishna about the happenings of the day and how a sailor had been unfairly punished for the crime of the poor man.
Oh dear, why did you not stick to the plan? Don't you have faith in me? Do you think that I do not understand the hearts of all those who come here? The rich man had money which he had got by cheating someone. It does not belong to him. On the other hand, the single coin offered by the poor man was the only coin he had, but he gave it to me with full faith. The sailor might not have done anything wrong, but if he had gone in the ship today, he would have died because of bad weather. Instead, he is alive and safe now in the jail. Soon the police will apologize to him and release him.
I did not know all this.
I have a good plan for everyone's life. But because your faith in me is shaky, you try to do things on your own. Don't do that. Just trust me.
For everything that we see around us, God has a plan. We need to trust His wisdom and accept His will.
You understood that, isn't it? So he has a plan. He has a good plan for everybody. Huh? Why he does what he does, only he knows. And therefore, when you become a devotee, you get a very sturdy inner heart. Huh? Because you know that, see, for example, if there is a wall, I throw a ball, then naturally I expect that the ball should come back to me. For every action, there should be reaction. Imagine instead of ball, if there is Krishna standing there, huh? I throw the ball to him. He may throw it back to me. Or I may throw the ball to him. He will just keep it with himself and not give it immediately. Instead, he may give a bigger ball back. Possible or not, isn't it? Because you know that Krishna is there, I am doing something, and then he may do something which I may not be able to see how it is good for me. You must have heard a story of how once a man who was going for, I mean, he was uh, going in a boat, little deeper and deeper in the ocean, he went farther. And then very heavy storms came and he couldn't escape. His boat was broken to pieces and he swam and reached to an island. In the island, he was very worried. What will happen to me? Because night the tigers and lions may come out. So he climbed up on the top of a tree and he slept on the tree top and he saw the ferocious animals on the ground. So next day he decided to build a house, build a hut, by bringing the firewood from the forest and everything, by bringing the wood and everything. So 2, 3 days later, he was stranded. He was eating, berries and roots and everything, waiting. Whenever ships would go, he would shout, come here, but nobody would come. And he didn't know how to call them. No, even if he shout in the babble of waves, no, nobody could hear him. He thought, how long am I going to live? Do I have to live all my life like this? I have nothing, I have no good food. I'm just surviving on fruits. So after a week, one day, after procuring some fruits, he was returning back to the hut. From a distance, he saw it was set ablaze. Big flame was coming. The whole hut was on fire. So all the way while coming, was cursing God. This is the only hut I made. That also God burned it down. But then, by the time he reached the hut, he saw a ship was coming towards this thing. Island. And then he ran to the ship and then he boarded the ship and he was very, very happy. He asked them, I didn't even call you. How did you come? Anybody can guess how they came? They saw the smoke. They saw the fire and smoke in the sky. Now he understood why God burnt my hut so that he can get those fellows to come. Then he was actually grateful to God and he was taking back all the bad words he gave to God. So most people are foolish because they don't know what is God's plan. You might have heard another story, the fellow who saw a banyan tree had a small fruit, pumpkin was a big fruit. He said a creeper has a big fruit and the tree has a small fruit. God must have put this pumpkin in the top and the small fruit should be in the creeper, correct? No? He thought like that. But what happened when he slept? The fruit fell on his forehead. He jumped up and then he saw in the mirror big bump. Then he realized God is not crazy, I am crazy, he said. Because if this big fruit was in the tree top, if it fell on my head today, my head would have broken to pieces. So, actually, to see order in God's activities will be possible for us the more we develop trust in Him and see His ways of working very amazingly. So, those who come in front of the deity, bow down to Him, circumambulate Him, celebrate festivals for Him, offer bhoga and take only His prasad, they eventually, as He says here, the different procedures and rules and regulations we follow in the temple of Vishnu, then all those deities are capable of awarding benedictions. Read that.
Sometimes the Lord informs the devotee through dreams.
Madhandrapuri, we told the pastime before. Yeah.
These exchanges of feelings between the deity and the devotee are not understandable by atheists, but actually the devotee enjoys them.
Yeah. So in the same purport, 325.25, Prabhupada gives little more point which is not here. See, So in the purport, one very important point Prabhupada will say here. Here. Read that.
There are many Shastric injunctions which give instructions for carving forms of the Lord. These forms are not material. If God is all pervading, then He is also in the material elements. There is no doubt.
God is everywhere, correct? No? We say God is everywhere. For example, God says that material energy has come from me. Bhumi rapanala vayu kammana buddhireva chahankare tiyame binna me prakriti rashtada. Krishna says that. It's actually 7.5, 7.4 and 7.5, 2 verses. So like the mic has come from Krishna, table has come from Krishna, laptop has come, everything has come from Him. So if everything has come from Him, He is also in them also, correct, no? Go ahead. And He's in every atom also.
There is no doubt about it. But the atheists think otherwise. Although they preach that everything is God, when they go to the temple and see the form of the Lord, they deny that He is God. According to their own theory, everything is God. Then why is the deity not God? Actually, they have no conception of God.
The devotee's vision.
The devotee's vision, however, is different. Their vision is smeared with the love of God. As soon as they see the Lord in His different forms, the devotees become saturated with love. For they do not find any difference between the Lord and His form in the temple, as do the atheists.
Correct, no? Like there is talking about how atheists see, yeah, correct. Yeah, that was the verse. So now we are telling some practical benefits of deity worship. Read it?
Saves from hellish attraction. Only attention engaged in the service of the Lord, especially in dressing and decorating the temple, accompanied by musical kirtan and spiritual instructions from scriptures, can save the common man from the hellish cinema attraction and rubbish sex songs broadcast everywhere by radios.
For example, you come to the Radha Madhava temple hall, beautiful kirtans are going on with a harmonium, singers are singing, other people are participating in the kirtan. So it's very absorbing. Look at the beautifully decorated deities. So you can elevate your mind. It's very, very positive. When I went to California, in Los Angeles, there is a college called UCLA, we call it, UCLA, University of California. So there we have a club called as Musical Meditation Club. So 60, 70 boys and girls come and sit, all Western bodied. Hardly any Indians, mostly Western bodied. They just come and sit for 1.5 hours in the same place. They just sit in yogic posture and they participate in kirtans. They have so much respect for the Hare Krishna mantra singing. And they never get tired at all. And they say that we want to hear like this daily. So they have developed a very firm faith that this Mahamantra, they have done a lot of research also nowadays on Mahamantra chanting. If you haven't heard, I'll just show you one. This I did in Ohio State University. You will see that here. See, this is actually a David Brian Wolf. He has done Hare Krishna Mahamantra effects of stress, depression, and 3 gunas. David B. Wolf has done a research on how the Mahamantra chant benefits. And this one, you see, this is another research. Neurologist study shows Mahamantra could help anxiety and schizophrenia. You know what is schizophrenia? That means you think a group of people are trying to trouble me. Unnecessarily fearing, which is not true. See, Dr. Vivek Baluja, a neurologist at Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit, began a study on the effects of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He says, exciting findings are yielded. He says, so, like this, there are many doctorate works are there.
And carry a profound influence, recommend meditational practices such as silent meditation, silent recitation of mantras, and also the verbal repetition of specific mantras out loud. A clinical test of the benefits of mantra chanting was performed on 3 groups of 62 subjects, males and females of average age 25. They chanted the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 25 minutes each day under strict clinical supervision. Results showed that regular chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra reduces stress and depression and helps reduce bad habits and addictions. These results formed a PhD thesis at Florida State University.
So what are the 4 things he says? Chanting Hare Krishna reduces? He says stress, depression, and then bad habits and addictions also, you're saying. Yeah. So, in this way, these are all proven now by various research work all across the globe. There are more than 35 international articles published on Mahamantra research. Effect of Mahamantra on people's body. More than 35 internationally acclaimed journals have published articles. So, therefore, he says here, if you see, when you sit in the temple hall, join a musical kirtan, and you also hear a class from the instruction from scriptures, these are all very absorbing to mind and purifying. And they can take you away from these hellish cinema attractions. Like nowadays, boys who have seen Netflix, they just cannot give it up. Netflix is high dimensional, movies are shown, and having seen that, some boys have become so addicted, they're glued to it. They can't just take the eyes away and they suffer like anything. It's a kind of addiction. But now he says that in the rubbish sex songs, all these things, one can rise above that. Then?
Infuses mundane mind with spiritual inspiration, subtle body. Visiting sanctified temple to see Lord well dressed naturally infuses the mundane mind with spiritual inspiration.
Yeah. So our mundane mind gets infused with spiritual inspiration. When we are seeing the nicely decorated Lord and the beautiful holy temple.
Good spiritually absorbing engagement for growth body. The path of Archana or worshipping the Lord in the temple involves engaging one's gross body in the service of the Lord.
Prabhupada says in Vrindavan, Radha Damodar temple, one old lady used to come, bring a pot of water every day from Yamuna in those days. She was 80 plus and her body would be trembling while lifting that jar of water. Early morning when Prabhupada would be sitting in his room translating, he would see that lady come, bring the water and keep it on a stage just outside the altar. So that Pujari later on, after an hour, Pujari will pick up that pot and use it for Abhishek of the deities. And then he would use it for the holy purposes. It was a daily thing Prabhupada noticed. Prabhupada said this lady would bring every day. Although she was very old and fragile and she had nobody, she was alone, all alone. It was only between her and the Lord. She would come and render that service. Prabhupada said, definitely she is going back to Godhead. Because even with that fragile body, trembling body, she is coming and doing that service. So, in this way, bathing the deity, decorating the deity, ornamenting the deity, and putting mukut and kundal and all that ornaments in the body of the deity. The more you see him personally and touch him and then dress him, a kind of very strong impressions enter into your mind. Just like parents decorate a child, you've seen that? If somebody has a little girl, sometimes they dress her like a gopi, sometimes they dress her in a frock. Sometimes they make jata like this, they make like this, no? Like that. Or sometimes they put it like this, put a rubber band here. And they put different. So parents like to see the children decorated very nicely. But the child enters the mind of the parents when they spend a lot of time with the children. Same with deities. If you engage in seva of the deities, Lord will enter your mind. Prabhupada said, a pujari at the time of death, Lord will enter his mind and remind him, and then Lord will take him back to Godhead. Prabhupada said. Yeah.
Purifies our existence, our heart. The more we are engaged in decorating the deities, washing the room, the more we are engaged in deity worship, the more we become purified. That is practical.
Yeah. Lust, anger, greed can be driven away by purifying our heart. That's the holy places. The deities are the presiding personalities in such holy places. Yeah.
Release from sense agitation. Freedom from anxiety of mind and agitation of senses. If one simply deposits all of his or her loving propensity onto the deity of Krishna, immediately they are relieved of anxiety due to material sense agitation.
Yeah. Our material senses are always chasing after the sense objects. And we are in great anxiety due to this. We are struggling to control our lust, anger, greed, and such things. But the deities can divert our attention to a higher engagement, a superior engagement, which is purifying engagement.
Gives constant remembrance of the Lord. Engagement for soul. The Archana Marg or the devotional path prescribed in the
Pancharatra system.
Pancharatra system of devotional service for the worshipping the deity in the temple makes the devotee think constantly of the Lord. That is samadhi or trance. One who practices in this way cannot deviate from the service of the Lord, and that makes him perfect in the mission of human life.
Yeah.
Enables one to go back to Godhead. Get spiritual body by touching Lord. Archana Bhadati, daily worship of the deity, provides an opportunity to touch the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus it enables one to be fortunate enough to get a spiritual body and go back to Godhead.
Actually, one cannot enter the altar so easily. In ISKCON, if you want to become Brahman, first you have to become a Harinam Dikshit first. 16 rounds and 4 regulative principles you follow for about 3 years. Then you get Harinam Diksha. And about another 3-4 years later, you get Brahman Diksha. After Brahman Diksha only, you will be allowed to enter the altar. And before entering altar, we do something called as Bhuta Shuddhi. We do it. Bhuta Shuddhi means we remove the gross body and subtle body mentally by offering some prayers. We pray to the Lord, my dear Lord, I am a spirit soul. I am trapped in this body, a nasty metal body, and I want to remove my gross and subtle body and come as a pure spirit soul into your altar. And then we deal with the Lord as a spirit soul. So, very purifying the deity worship. So, now we go back to the booklet, activity booklet, where science behind the deity, everything is covered already. We are just going to only the activity now. See, the first part of the booklet I'll show you. You can see here. See, God is always a person. All major religions refer to God as a person. See, I quoted from the Bible. In Bible, Ezekiel, you see, describes God as having a semblance of a human form. In Genesis, God's under his feet, eyes of God, ears of God, finger, you see. These are all from Bible. Clearly it says God is a person. And in Quran also, see here, Allah's face, what is it called in Quran? Waj. Allah's eyes, Ainun, words are used. I have even quoted the surah number also I quoted. And Allah also gives darshan to Abraham. You will read that in Quran. So, very clearly God's feet, God's hands, God's eyes, both Bible also says and Quran also says. That means God has a form. And Krishna also says, Sarvada Panipadam Tat Sarvatokshishiro Mukham Sarvata Shatiman Loke Sarvamavritya Tishtati. Everywhere the super soul's hands, legs are there, eyes are there, heads are there, faces are there. He's a person. God is a person. So we have covered all these things. Even Rigveda says, Om Tat Vishnum Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Suryaha Diviva Chakshuradatam Vipraso Panyavo Jagravam Samindate. Either it says. So, all devatas run to Vishnu's lotus feet. Taittiriya Upanishad also says that the Lord glanced at the material creation, Sa Aikshata, and then he said, Sa Asrijata. He created the material creation. So in this way, even the Upanishads talk about the Lord glancing. So who can glance without eyes? He has to have eyes to glance, isn't it? See, that's the Prashna Upanishad that says, Om Sri Krishnaya Namaha Om Satchidananda Rupaya. I invoke Lord Krishna who possesses a form that is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. So all these are quotes. Special quote is this one. In all of you repeat this, Ishopanishad. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya apihitam mukham tatvam pushanna pavrano satyadharmaya drishtaye. I'll show you the verse also. This is Sri Ishopanishad. See, mantra 15. Mantra 15 says, Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukham tattvam pushan apavranu satya dharma yadrishtaye. See, Hiranmaya means golden. Patrena means a golden effulgence is enveloping you, my Lord Krishna. Satyasya apihitam mukham. Apihitam means to cover. Your beautiful face is covered by this effulgence. Tattvam Pushan apavarano means please remove this effulgent covering so that Satya Dharmaya Drishtaya. Let me see your beautiful face. That's the meaning. This is from, read the translation.
O my Lord, sustainer of all that lies, your real face,
all that lives.
all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee.
That means the devotee is saying, remove that effulgence and let me see your face. This is Rishabh. When you're talking about, just like I told you, behind the impersonal government there is Prime Minister. Like that it's saying. Yeah. So then about the deity form, you have learned everything now. Directly we can go to the activities now. These are all texts I have covered with the PPT. You have seen that. See here, I have given you all these items. From this you should pick up, no need to write. Only the number you have to put. For example, I have given a sample. God has an authorized representation deity form which is called number 13. I have put. What is 13? Archa Vigraha. Similarly, you have to just put the numbers here. Here you just put the numbers. Find out from that box and just put the number, okay? There are about how many? 8 questions are there. Yes. Don't use the same number for 2 fill in the blanks. Only one time you can use it. Then I will show you the answer after that. Okay, now you see the answers now. Yeah, you can see. You see, smiling faces deity in the temple is beheld by the devotees as transcendental and spiritual. Okay? The devotees express their minds before the deity. And deity also gives answers. One must be very elevated devotee to be able to speak with the Supreme Lord. And then the Lord sometimes comes through the dreams. Actually, in our present state, it is not possible to see God in his spiritual form because our material eyes and senses cannot conceive of a spiritual form. Correct? Can I show further? This is up to 4. 1 to 4 you all have seen it? Okay, I'll show further now. See, in order to be seen by our material senses, the Supreme Lord accepts a favorable form which is called Archa Vigraha. This Archa Vigraha is sometimes called as Archa Incarnation. It is not different from him. This is a little difficult question, this one. and then here is flute, his eyes are like lotus flowers, decorated with peacock plumes, fresh black cloud, millions of cupid. Devotees don't find any difference between Lord and Archa Vigraha in the temple. Modern day researchers, if modern researchers can communicate mails and phone calls across the globe, what is the difficulty for Lord Krishna to receive worship and reciprocate his mercy with his loving devotees in his deity form? Can I show further? That's all. Right. How many of you got all the answers right? There's only one. 1, 2, and then 3. Oh, 4, 5. Please come. We'll give special prizes. Yeah, good. Very special. Very good. I got all answers right, huh? All of you got it? Very good. So, see, this also I spoke about it. How can we express our love for God? By offering Him food, huh? Whatever we eat out of gratitude. So, see, one very important thing Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that any food that we eat without offering to Him is sin. He says that. So, therefore, it has to be offered. Huh? Okay. Here you can answer this. What 2 things should we do if you want peace? Please read the 4 questions, possibilities.
A. Accept that everything belongs to God and you may use it after offering it to Him. B. Accept that everything is not mine and do not encroach on others' property. C. Accept that everything belongs to all and avoid quarrel by sharing with all. D. Accept that everything belongs to God and eat whatever is given to you.
Which one? Huh? Yeah. Actually, answer is A. And see, B is not completely correct because accept that everything is not mine and do not encroach on his property. That is negating the negative. Huh? There is nothing positive in that. The first one teaches you that you have to offer it and then take it. Huh? Yeah. Did you hear the story? Once a Sadhu Baba came to a hall where a lot of hundreds of people were sitting. So they gave him a big plate of fruits. So he just kept the fruits in the front. He didn't talk to them at all. He just opened the fruits, oranges and apples and bananas. He just ate all of them and threw the cover at the bottom. And then he went inside. Huh? And people were all looking up and down. The next day evening he came, another big group of people came. And the sadhu came. They also gave a big plate of fruits. So sadhu threw the fruits like this, here and there. The entire plate became empty. Then he left and went away. So third day when he came, third group also brought him fruits. So he accepted some fruits and then gave away some fruits to others. You also take, you shared with them. So the sadhu's disciple came, said, Guruji, first day people and second day people are very bewildered by your behavior. First day they were saying that you just ate the fruit, you didn't speak one word also and you went away. Second day you came, you threw away all the fruits. They were thinking probably you were upset with them, therefore you threw away. But third day, you accepted also and you reciprocated by giving them something in return also. So, and the sadhu said, I was teaching a great lesson, he said. First day I showed how the living entities in this world are living. They're just taking everything and eating and going away, not even asking who has kept it. Not reciprocating with the people who are giving you, which is God is giving you everything. And the second day I threw away, which is like Jnani, he's a Tyagi. He goes to Himalayas, leaving him behind everything. So Bhogi enjoys and Tyagi renounces. But Bhaktas, what they do? They offer it to Krishna and then they take it. Huh? It's called the Jikta Vairagya. Therefore, the A is the correct answer. And second one, please read it.
Those who do not make an offering of their food, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, A. Are deepening their involvement in complex material nature. B. They are only eating sin. C. Eat food which is not purified and thus is not fit for consumption. D. Cannot make spiritual advancement and thus cannot gain release from entanglement.
B and D. That's all. All the four are correct. A, B, C, D. Huh? Actually, they are deepening their involvement in complex material means karmic reactions are increasing. Huh? And they are only eating sin. And they are consuming food which is not fit for consumption. Huh? All are correct. No. See here, this is a very important question is answered here. Read it.
How does Krishna eat the food that we offer him? Krishna's senses are absolute and interchangeable. In other words, one sense can perform the function of any other. This is what it means to say that Krishna is absolute. Lacking senses, he could hardly be considered full in all opulences. Krishna has explained that he impregnates the living entities into material nature by simply by his looking upon material nature. And
do you know this? Krishna takes the jivas from the spiritual world and then he puts them in the material world by glancing. I will show you this tomorrow. How he creates this material creation by his glance only. Huh? He can move millions of living beings from one place to another merely by glancing. Saha aikshata, sa asrijata, it is said. So, can any of you move things by your own glance alone? Yes, we can also do in a small way. Like in my village, my grandfather one day was relaxing in an easy chair. Like very cooling. So one fellow came with mangoes from our orchard. We have orchard in the village. So he brought a sack of mangoes and he stood at the door and said, Swami, he asked, can I go inside and put it in the go down? He wanted to ask. And then he said, when he looked at him, then he said, that's all. And the whole sack went inside. So we are also moving with our eyes. To some degree, we can do a small thing, but you can't do millions of jivas, you cannot move. Huh? Like Lord can move with his eyes. With his eyes, he can do such kind of thing. Like with his eyes, he's bringing the dead boys alive who died by Kaliya's poison. Huh? Many things we can do. Like Lord Rama looked at the ocean. Do you all know that? What happened? The ocean started boiling, correct? No? And ocean didn't give way. Huh? Started boiling. All the aquatics were trembling. It was smoky hot water. Huh? Then Samudradeva came running to Rama and fell at his feet and said, my dear Lord, I thought you are doing Nara Leela. You are supposed to behave like a human being. Therefore, I didn't give you way. If you want to show your Bhagavata, Godhood, then I'll give way. Huh? Please forgive me if in case I offended you. Like that he said. Then Lord Rama smiled and said, okay, no need to give way. Let my devotees make a Setu Bandha now. He said. But the idea is Lord Rama can boil a whole ocean of water if he merely glances. Some places they say he sent an arrow. Some places he just glanced. Huh? Imagine if you take a glass of water like this and you look at it, can you boil it? Huh? With our eyes, we cannot do it. With his eyes, he can do anything. Yeah, go ahead.
And so, in this instance, Krishna's hearing the devotee's words of love in offering foodstuffs is wholly identical with his eating and actually tasting. Only the devotee who accepts Krishna as he describes himself without interpretation can understand that the supreme absolute truth can eat food and enjoy it. We put our devotion in the food offering and submit it to Krishna. He accepts it and returns the prasadam with his mercy. Imagine, if you give a box of carrot halwa to your friend on his birthday out of love, he will surely gladly accept it. He will return your box next day with some chocolates that is a favorite. Generally, nobody returns an empty box. Similarly, Krishna accepts our love and devotion and returns the prasadam with his divine mercy.
Yeah, you understand, no? In India, it's a custom. If somebody gave you in a stainless steel box some sweet or something, next day do you give an empty box back? You put something back in return. Similarly, you give the food to Krishna with your devotion and Krishna gives back the food to you with his mercy. So the food becomes a medium for expressing our devotion to him and receiving his mercy in our lives. So how do you know there is mercy in it? You can't measure it with a vernier caliper or a screw gauge or an electron microscope. You can't find out. How do you know that? So you will know that when you keep eating prasadam, ahara shuddhau, sattva shuddhi. There is a Upanishadic verse which says, your food has three components. One component becomes stool and urine. Another component becomes blood circulated all over the body. The third component goes straight to your consciousness. It purifies your consciousness and awakens devotion. Like in Mayapur, you are all eating prasadam now. Huh? The prasadam gives you devotion to Lord. If you go to a hotel and eat, you will get business mentality, selfish mentality like that. Like there was one sadhu who came to one house. One lady wanted to feed him prasad. So he sat and ate, but she got a golden plate. That was her only possession. She thought sadhu should be given a golden plate to serve. So he ate from that plate. And after finishing the prasad, the sadhu went away, but the lady found the gold plate was missing in her house. She thought, what happened? She told all the neighborhood people. Then people went to the bus stand. Sure enough, the sadhu was still there. They caught him. They said, sir, please check your jolna bag whether any plate is there. So he checked inside, there was gold plate inside. And sadhu was surprised. How did I take it with me? I don't know. I'm sorry. So again he returned to the house and said, in a hurry somehow the plate came to me. And then the sadhu asked the lady, tell me, mother, the food you gave me, how did you get this food? She said, you see, today I made basmati rice. I made some basmati rice for you and dal. And I made chapati and sabji. You liked the basmati so much, basmati rice so much. You wanted more and more rice. I was wondering what to do. Then I went to the jamindar's house in the neighborhood. I stole their rice because she is working as a servant maid in the next place. So I went to their house because they daily make in basmati. So I stole all the rice and brought and I served you. Sadhu said, see, because you served me stolen rice, after eating that I became a thief. Immediately the mentality came to me. So that means, therefore, Jaisa an Vaisa man, it is said. That's the point. So if you fill up the food with love for Krishna, actually devotees are very attentive. When they go to the market to buy bendi, they break and see. On the top, how to buy bendi? You all know this? Should it be crispy or should it bend? Crispy. So it should break. If it breaks and it's brittle, that means it's a good bendi, young bendi. If it is bending, not breaking, that means old fellow. The old bendi. So why should we check whether bendi is brittle or not? Anybody can say? Yes, somebody is saying because the brittle one is tasty, he is saying. Yes? It has to be offered to the Lord. Give him an applause. Very good. Come, we'll give him a special prize. That is the answer. See, I know very well many of you will say that, Prabhuji, if it's brittle, then it will taste very nice. That means you are thinking about who's eating? Who's eating, you are thinking? Yeah. He gave the correct answer. What's your name? Your name? Yeah? Subayan. Yeah, Subayan. Subayan said correct answer. So he said, why we should check the brittleness? Because it is going to be offered to Krishna. That's what we should think always. Then you are progressing in bhakti because you are thinking that, okay, right from the time I buy sabji, then I wash it properly. Say, for example, I saw in the temple once they were washing the aloo, that potato. It was very muddy. So one fellow was directly cutting it and then putting it in the water. He put it in water, he didn't wash it. The potato has got a lot of sand. So he was taking out and was cutting it and putting it in water again. Another bucket. So I told him, hey, don't you see the potato is muddy? First you thoroughly wash it. There should be not a bit of mud in that. And then you cut it, I said. He said, what is the difference? Even if you don't wash also, no problem. I said, due to osmosis, you will see that, the mud will go inside. It absorbs. You have seen that? The mud will be absorbed. So one has to be very attentive when we are entering service because it's going to be served to whom? Krishna, yeah. That means while buying, you can be attentive. While cleaning and washing and cutting, can be attentive. Mataji's in ISKCON temples, they wear a white kind of, what do you call it? It's a scarf, is it? On the head, they wear, cover the head. Why they cover the head? Do you know that? Hair should not fall in the food. So to attentively serve. So in this way, our attentiveness and serving will turn into love eventually. Answer the question? Read it.
How does Krishna eat our offering? A. His senses are interchangeable and absolute. If he can impregnate material nature with jivas simply by glancing, then why not? C. His hearing the prayer of devotee, eating, tasting are all identical. D. It is psychological phenomena that Lord has kept for the satisfaction of the devotees.
Some are saying A, B and A and A and B they are saying. C also they are saying. D, huh? D, huh? C. Huh? A, B, C. All the three are correct. Huh? His hearing, prayer of devotee, eating, tasting, all are identical. A, B, and C. Okay. Next one.
Second, how does the reciprocation between Krishna and his devotees take place? A. Like a friend not returning an empty box but giving you something in return out of love. B. Like give and take of anyone in this world. C. It is a pure transaction of love between Lord and devotee. D. A devotee wants to give something to the Lord with love, and Lord showers his mercy on the devotee having accepted the love.
ACD, yeah. Yes. Because in the material world, it's not like a businessman, you give money and then he gives you some commodity. It's not like that. ACD, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, read this.
Krishna does not need anything from us except our love. For a small child, everything is provided by the father, but while eating, he offers small item to the father. My dear father, it is very nice. You taste. How very pleased the father will be. The father knows that the child is giving his own food, but when the child says, Father, this is very nice, you eat. The father replies, It is very nice. All right, I shall eat it. This is love. How can you offer your love? Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. Tad aham bhakte uphartham ashnami. And if God accepts your offering and eats, then what more do you want? He becomes your most intimate friend. If you accept God as your intimate friend, then you'd need nothing more. You will be fulfilled. You will tell yourself, I have got everything.
Yeah.
Krishna went to Duryodhana's house on a peace mission before the battle. Duryodhana offered a sumptuous feast, but Krishna refused to accept it. Krishna said, I am not hungry. You are not offering out of love. This food is all of bad feelings. Therefore, it cannot nourish the mind and the body. Without any reason, you are envious of the Pandavas. Anyone who envies the Pandavas envies me, and anyone who favors the Pandavas favors me. The Pandavas are one with my life. One should not eat in the house of envious people, nor offer food to envious people.
So, I'll just show you. See here, this is Krishna. He did not eat in Duryodhana's palace. Huh? Because Krishna told him, see, if you agree for the peace mission and you are ready to stop the war, I will take the prasad now, immediately. But if you are not ready for it, then let's have the negotiation first. Huh? And if the end result of negotiation is as per my expectation, then only I'll eat. And Duryodhana said, no, we already cooked, everything is ready, you must eat now. Like that he said. And Krishna said, what are you talking? Huh? Neither are you offering with love, nor am I hungry. Unless you are hungry or offered with love, you won't eat in anybody's place. Huh? And then instead Krishna went to the home of Vidura. Vidura and his wife are pure devotees of Krishna. Huh? And Vidurani, when she saw, she had tears in her eyes. She took out the bananas and she's throwing away the bananas and she's giving banana peel as if you're feeding a cow. Isn't it? And Krishna was also eating. And when Vidura saw that he had gone to market, when he came back, he came running and said, hey, my dear good wife, what are you doing? You are feeding banana peel to Krishna. दुर्योधन के भोग न खायो रोक साक विदुरगर कायो दुर्योधन के भोग न खायो रोक साक विदुरगर कायो ऐसे प्रेम पुजारी राधे श्याम 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 ऐसे प्रेम पुजारी Madhava what picture you are seeing. Huh? He accepted. Similarly, Lord Rama accepted from Shabari, correct, no? Shabari, what he accepted? She would actually take all the fruits. Some fruits were kata, some fruits are meeta. So if it is kata, she would throw it away. If it is meeta, she will keep it. Huh? So I was wondering why Shabari is doing like this. What is so special about it? So morning I used to take fruit juice daily. So my assistant one day gave me a Mousambi juice. Mousambi is, sweet lime. Huh? So when I put in my mouth, it was so sour it was. Huh? So I asked my assistant, hey, did you taste it before giving me? It looks like lemon, I told him. So he said, no, Prabhuji, I didn't taste. He said, whenever you give me, you taste and give me, I told him. Huh? Then I immediately remembered why Shabari tasted and gave. Huh? Because when the other person tastes and then gives, then he will only give you what is good quality, correct, no? So that was Shabari. That also Lord Rama accepted lovingly.
Krishna then went to Vidura's house. Vidura was in such ecstasy, he was peeling bananas and offered the peel to Krishna and throwing away the bananas. Krishna relished that offering.
Yeah, and then this pastime I already told you, Madan Mohan, yesterday I told you. This is very good. Read this one.
There is a process of worshipping the river Ganges. After you take your bath, you stand up to your waist in the water and take little water from Ganges and you offer it, saying, Mother Ganges, I am offering the respect. This is the process. Now, suppose take a handful of water from the Ganges. What is the loss to Ganges? And if you offer a handful of water to the Ganges, where is the gain? So, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. If you offer a flower, a fruit, or a leaf to the Supreme, do you mean to say he gains something? Or if you take it from nature and you take so many things, is he in loss? He has no gain or loss. It is for your interest. When God accepts, he says, Yes, Ashnami, I eat.
Correct, huh? Actually, we stand to gain by offering. Yeah.
A member of the Arya Samajis asked me, Swamiji, do you think God eats? I said, Yes, because God says I eat. So God says I eat. Who are you to say that he does not eat? I replied to him in this way. You say that God does not eat, but here God says I eat. So who shall I believe? Believe a loafer like you or Krishna? I am a third person, you are also a third person, and Krishna is recognized as the supreme personality of the Godhead. Who shall I believe? I accept that I am fool number one, but who shall I accept you or Krishna? What are you? What is your position? You are an ordinary man. So when you say God does not eat, but God says I eat, who should I believe?
Powerful logic, no, Prabhupada? Prabhupada is so powerful. He said, see, I am a third man, you are a third man. Huh? But God is saying, I rather put faith in His words rather than put faith in your words. Huh? Yeah. Okay, now somebody may say, Prabhu, all this is wonderful. What if I don't worry about the deity? Huh? I don't worship the deity. Then what happens?
What is the danger of ignoring the deity form of God? The soul hankers to see the beautiful form of God, Shri Krishna. And if he cannot do so, he is likely to try to satisfy himself with the beautiful but temporary things to be seen in the material world. Or worse still, in frustration, he may conclude that there is no such thing as God or that God really has no form at all.
Yeah. There are two dangers. One is sense gratification, one is impersonalism. Huh? We can go to these two things by not accepting the deity form. Huh? Because, we all have a very strong leaning towards, form and beauty. Huh? So if you are not going to accept the God's form, you have to accept some temporary form of a woman. Huh? Or we will be attracted to either a beautiful woman's form, which is perishable form, or to something impersonal. Yeah, please read this.
Krishna's accepting our offering is like A. The boss satisfied with the employee. B. Father satisfied with the love offering of his child. C. Ganga kindly accepting our offering of Ganga water back to her. D. A taxi driver accepting our travel fare after ride.
Huh? B and C. Only B and C. Yeah. Next.
Examples of pure reciprocation of love are Vidura feeding banana peel to Krishna, Duryodhana offering of Chappan Bhog to Krishna, Arya Samaj is visiting temple of Lord Krishna, Sanatan Goswami offering chapati to Lord Madan Mohan Deity.
A and D. A and D. Yeah. Yes.
What is the danger of not worshipping the deity form of Lord? One may come to a wrong conclusion that God has no form. One may become an atheist, saying that there is no God. One may develop attachment for the beauty of opposite sex. One may see the Lord everywhere and in everything.
ABC. ABC. Yeah. Correct. Yes.
Deity is not different from God. The reason that deity is accorded such reverence is that the form of God is God. There is no difference between the form of the Lord and the Lord himself. On the material platform, a person and his picture, for instance, are different.
For example, when Prabhupada went to a man's house, the man asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, can you show me Krishna? And Prabhupada showed Krishna's deity form. So he said, no, I'm not asking about deity, Swamiji. I want actual Krishna, can you show me? Prabhupada said, how do you differentiate between Archa Vigraha and the Lord? Lord is same as Archa Vigraha. The man couldn't understand. Then Prabhupada saw his photo in the house. And Prabhupada asked, who is this fellow? And that man smiled and said, Swami, that's me. He said. Prabhupada said, you see, you are saying you are same as your photo. And how is Lord not same as the deity? Then he asked, see, a man who says, I am the photo, when he goes to office, that photo is not absolute that it can reciprocate with you, correct? Now, whereas Krishna is there in every atom. In every, like for example, Draupadi is calling Krishna's name in Delhi, Hastinapur. And Krishna is in Dwaraka at that time, correct, no? And then you can see from Dwaraka, Krishna heard it when she said, Hey Krishna, hey Govinda, hey Gopijanolabha, hey Dwaraka Vasin, like that she called. Huh? And at that time, Krishna was sitting with Satyabhama, with a big plate of golden plate of prasad. He was about to begin eating. As soon as he heard that, next moment Krishna got up. Huh? And Satyabhama was surprised. Swami, what happened? Why are you not eating? He said, Gambhir Mamla. Huh? Serious matter. Because one of my devotees is crying, calling my name. He just vanished from there. Huh? Disappeared from that place. Next moment in Delhi, she appeared there, huh? And gave unlimited sari to Draupadi. Which means you can see his name is absolute. She called him and then immediately responded. There is one song also in this connection. It comes to my mind now. नाम वाले को चिंता रहती, नाम न हो बदना. द्रौपदी ने जब सभा में पुकारा, जट आए घनश्याम, हरि से बड़ा हरि का नाम, हरि से बड़ा हरि का नाम. You understood the meaning? Correct, no? Say, Naam wale ko, Naam wala means there is only one Naam wala in the entire world. Anybody knows who is there? Krishna. Because our name was not there when we were born. After a few days only name was given to us. But Krishna's name is there in scripture even before he appears. Vasudeva's name is there. He is going to appear as son of Vasudeva. That's why he says Naam wale, he says. And then he says, one more line I'll tell you. वो दिल वाले डूब जाएंगे जिन पे नहीं है नाम, वो पत्थर भी तर जाएंगे जिन पे लिखा श्री राम, हरि बड़ा हरि नाम, हरि. Understand the meaning? See, वो पत्थर भी दर जाएंगे जिन पे लिखा श्री राम है, whereas वो दिल वाले डूब जाएंगे जिन पे नहीं है नाम. So, by calling the Lord's name, Lord is instantly present, whether it is Gajendra is calling or Draupadi is calling. That's what he is saying here. Read it.
Seeing a picture of a friend may remind us of that friend, but the picture is only a representation, not the friend himself. Furthermore, in the material world, a person is different even from his very body, for the body is matter, whereas the person is the spiritual spark within the body. But God, if we accept him as being fully spiritual, must be free from all such dualities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead and his transcendental form are the same spiritual identity. The Vedic literature describes that each part of his transcendental body can perform any of the functions of any other part. Thus, although with our eyes we can only see, the Lord can not only see with his eyes but also taste, smell or hear with them. Thus, the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord is unlimited and all-powerful.
Yeah. First, Krishna creates millions of universes, and he enters into each of the universe. Then I will be showing in the creation of the universes. So tomorrow, I think tomorrow after it will come, I'll show you creation of the universes, how he enters into each universe, and he enters into the heart of all living beings, enters into every atom also. So there is no place where he is not present. Therefore, if you are worshipping deity, even in your house, in a small deity form, worshipping, Krishna can immediately know what you are thinking, what you are worshipping. Yeah, read this. How are
God's eyes different from ours? A. His eyes can taste, smell, or hear. B. His vision is finite. C. He can see in darkness everywhere at once. D. No one can avoid God seeing or hearing.
A, C, D. A, C, and D. See, it is said God can see a black ant on a black stone on a Amavasya night. It is said. You can see the difference between the three. See, imagine if there's a black ant on a black stone on Amavasya night. Is it difficult to see that? If you imagine you are walking on the road on Amavasya night, pitch dark, no light anywhere. So you'll bump into somebody and the fellow he shouts. Then you see his shining teeth. Then you say, sorry, you say. Because you can't see. You see? But he can see everything. Then
Why do we treat the deity as if we treat another living person? A. There is no difference between the form of the Lord and Lord himself. B. Just as man and his photo are same, similarly Lord and deity are same. C. The Lord's form is eternally transcendental wherever he appears, even in the material world. D. Lord is present everywhere at all time and is seeing everything everywhere.
ABCD, yeah. See, one time when Akrura had come to Hastinapur, Kunti saw him and she started loudly weeping, because her sons were tortured. Pandavas were troubled. So she was telling, hey Govinda, hey Krishna. And Prabhupada says, at that time, Krishna or Govinda, he was not nearby. He was far away. He was in Dwaraka. So somebody may say, why Kunti is calling Krishna's name, in his absence? Is it not foolishness? The person is far away and you're calling Krishna, you're crying like that. But Prabhupada says, no, Kunti was connected to Krishna when she remembered his name and remembered his form. So, how is it like? Like one time I saw, when I was walking on the road like this, another man was coming. And he was single man, but I saw him talking to himself. I thought he has gone crazy because modern times people have become so mad, they're talking to themselves, I thought. But when the man came near, I understood there was a Bluetooth. He was talking to somebody. Nowadays, many people talk like that. You see that? We don't know whether they're talking to themselves or talking on Bluetooth. If they're talking on Bluetooth, they are connected. If they're talking without Bluetooth, nut has become loose. Correct, no? So as soon as he saw the Bluetooth, I understood, okay, he's not a madman. He's connected. Immediately one idea struck in my mind. Just as this man has a Bluetooth, similarly, Kunti Manani was connected to Blue Krishna also. Because of a connection, she's calling, hey Govinda, Krishna is hearing or not? You don't need a Bluetooth also to connect with Krishna. Anywhere you just call his name, he is hearing you when you say that. That's what he is saying. Yeah. Yes?
We put a
This
big
is the last part of the seminar. Yeah. Sorry. Really?
We put a big bulk of newspapers in scrap for some little value, while we will preserve any currency note in the wallet in our pocket. Although we know both appear to be ordinary paper because the currency note is authorized by the government with some great value. A child may not know the difference and may mutilate a currency note and throw it here and there due to his ignorance. Similarly, devotees of the Lord know very well that Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna, is a person who becomes easily accessible in the form of deity, authorized by himself in the scriptures to receive worship as a loving master and bestow his divine grace upon them. He, along with his divine consort, thus appear in this world as Radha Krishna, Sita Ram, and Lakshmi Narayana to receive loving services of his devotees in terms of bathing, dressing, feeding, singing, his glories through katha and kirtans, dancing, circumambulating, bowing down to sincerely expressing their love for God with the desire to get an opportunity to attain his eternal service. Such devotees have been following this glorious path laid by great acharyas and scriptures faithfully since time immemorial, thus developing a loving disposition towards Sri Krishna and devotees, and while leaving their body at the time of death with such loving remembrance, have been elevated back home, back to Godhead. By chanting Hare Krishna and worshipping the deities and eating the Krishna prasadam offered to the deity with the desire to awaken a forgotten love of God, we all can achieve the same perfection in our lives very easily.
Yes. So we completed the seminar successfully. So now, one question that many of you asked in the questions I saw is about Shiva and Krishna. So the scriptures are very vast and they can be very confusing. One Purana says one thing, another Purana says another thing. Like for example, Prabhupada says, when Krishna says Aham Bija Pradaha Pita, correct, no? Prabhupada says it is not Krishna, it is Shiva, Prabhupada says. Why? Because Shiva and Parvati are the mother and father of the material world. Shiva is also called Bhava. You have seen the Shiva Linga, and the Shiva Linga is connected to the yoni of the woman, that is Durga. You will see that. The Shivalinga, man-woman union, is represented by Shivalinga, which means the generation principle in this world is represented by the Shivalinga. So Shiva and Parvati are the mother and father of the material world. So the Krishna doesn't directly involve with the material world. So Prabhupada says it is actually Shiva, he says. And that is why there is one organization who talk about Shiva Baba, they say. Shiva, they say, originally he is the master of the material world. Yes, he is the master of the material world. But he becomes a devotee of Lord Vishnu, Vaishnavana, Metta Shambhu. Because in the spiritual realm, these three are the prominent deities. Lakshmi Narayan, Sitaram, Radha Krishna. Because all are Sattva Pradhan deities. So in Sattva, you put tulasi in the rice and you offer it. Rice, sabji, milk, sugar, oil and ghee. These are the things you use. Vegetarian items, vegetables and all. But in Tamaguna worship, you can see that people eat different things offering to Durga, correct, no? People offer chicken, people offer goat and things like that. And it increases the tamas also by offering those things like that. So, people who are Rajasic, they eat very spicy items and everything. So, on the spiritual plane, the deity which is supremely worshipped are these three deities. Towards the end, I had told you this. And another thing that causes confusion while reading the scriptures for many of us is like Shivaya, Vishnu Rupaya, Shiva Rupaya, Vishnave. This kind of verses you will find. Shiva is the one who comes as Vishnu. No, actually, you will find that the word Shiva also means auspicious. One of the 1,000 names of Vishnu is also Shiva. So people think that means this Shiva and that Vishnu are same. People think like that. But the meaning of that Shiva is auspicious. At the same time, Shiva is a direct expansion of Vishnu. There is one verse which says in Maha Narayana Upanishad, Eko havai Narayana asin, na Brahma, na Ishano, na Chandro, na Agni, na Prithvi, na Apo. And then he says, Narayanat Brahma Jayate, Narayanat Prajapati Prajayate, Narayanat Indro Jayate, Narayanat Ashtau Vasavo Jayante, Narayanat Ekadasha Rudro Jayante. Like that he says, in the dawn of creation there was no one. Eko Havai Narayana Asin. Narayana alone existed, which means Mahavishnu. And Na Brahma, he says, not Brahma. Ishan means Shiva. Na Brahma, not Shiva, not Indra, not Chandra, no Agni, no Vayu, nobody. And then he says, Narayana Brahma Jayate. From Narayana came Brahma. Then Prajapati Prajayate. And then he's saying, Ekadasha Rudra means 11 Rudras came. Like that he says. So, these things we have covered in the Sfurti camp. How many of you remember attending Sfurti camp? We had a session on why do we consider Krishna as supreme? You remember? Only a few hands are up. Yeah, in Smriti we have an elaborate session called as God and Gods. So, Shivaji Prabhu, I have a request. You can give the link to the organizers on God and Gods. So those in God and God, there are 3-4 parts. Many times they are not covered in syllabus. Last part is quiz. How many have attended God and Gods quiz you did in your places? You remember? There are some hands up. That's very, very important to know the difference between the demigods and Krishna. We conduct groups of people and quiz and we give big prizes also. Nowadays it doesn't happen in Smriti camp. So that is a very, very important thing. It's there in my... They can go to website very easily. It's Shivaji Prabhu. See, if you go to this, you can yourself locate. You can see this. See, www.radheshyamdas.com. If you go here, go to this. What is about? The word put search or first year? Search? Okay. Put search and put God and God. That's all? Okay. See, it comes. See here. Quiz is here. See? In people format. This is a booklet, I think. Answers are also given here. Everything is there. So if you take part 1, 2, 3 is there, God and Gods. If you click it, it comes here. See, if you click this, then you get this PPT also you get. Okay, booklet, PPT. Here there is video available here. This is audio. This is link. So it's all available for you. So if you go through this, you will thoroughly understand it. All your doubts will be dispelled there. Especially about Shiva, I have spoken elaborately on Shiva. Shiva and Krishna have a very, very sweet relationship. If you don't know that, you will think Shiva and Vishnu are competitor. We may foolishly think like that. So this is my challenge many times, because many of you, your time is limited and you don't get to attend all the sessions. When you come to the Utkarsh camp, then we can't cover these things again, all over again. So you can try going through that, okay? So you understand about God and gods very well. Now we have to go for prasad now, or we can take 5 minutes. 8:15 you can leave them. We had got the Kirtan in temple hall. Oh, really? What time? You didn't tell me. Actually, today was the temple hall Kirtan. We are late already. We had planned 7:45 to 8:30, they were saying. But you can quickly go from here. You can join for a few minutes and then go for prasad from there. Okay? Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Very nice. All of you responded beautifully today. Many correct answers came from most of you.